Hey everyone, welcome to Demo Day. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Rick. I'm the president of iOS Club, and I'm super excited that you guys are all here tonight. Over the past few years, our talented members have designed and built over 35 amazing apps. And the dedication this semester has been absolutely no different. Our teams have poured countless hours into what you're about to see, and I can't wait for them to show off the projects that they've been building. To kick things off and explain exactly how Demo Day is going to work, I'll hand it over to Austin.
Thank you, Rick. Good evening, Georgia Tech. It's Demo Day. Super excited to have you all here. Yes. My name is Austin Huguenard, and I'm the Vice President of Projects for iOS Club. Before we dive into the demos, let's talk logistics. We'll cover awards, the rubric the teams are judged on. We'll introduce the judges, and then finally, we'll get into those beloved demos. So first, with the awards. Tonight, we're giving out 3 different awards. The first of which is the popular vote. That's when you get a chance to chime in on your favorite app, and as a collective audience, you guys will pick the favorite app of the night, the popular vote. The next is the best design. The judges will be analyzing these apps very meticulously and seeing which one is the most cohesive and serves its users best. And finally, the best app. This is a collective view at the entire app, looking at the technical depth, the overall design, how well it's built, and how well it solves the user's problems. The winners of this award, each person on the team will walk home with an AirTag. And for the best app, we have a very specific rubric that the judges will be using so we can best pick that app. The rubric has 4 categories in it. The first of which is design. We're looking at how polished these apps are, how usable these apps are to new users, and the overall thoughtfulness going into the design. The second component is the technicality. We expect a certain level of engineering depth and technical strength in all of these apps, and using technologies and cool ways to bring cool new features to users. The third is purpose. All of these apps spent many weeks at the beginning of this semester picking the idea that they'd run with through the entire semester and analyzing the problems that their users face and how they can address those in the app. And finally, the fourth is presentation. All of these presentations should have a story weaved through them. They should be exciting, and everyone presenting should exude confidence. So there's the rubric for the best app. Now let's introduce the judges that will be determining the winners of the best design and the best app tonight. We have 5 judges that are all alumnus of Georgia Tech and all were in iOS Club. So if each of you could introduce yourself one at a time, we'll start with Jay.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jay. Super excited to see what you guys have been working on. I used to be the president sometime in 2021 or something like that, and I graduated in 2023. Right now, I'm working for a small startup that's building apps in the consumer social sort of speculation trading space, which has been super exciting. Yeah, excited to see what you guys are working on.
Thank you, Jay. Alan?
Hey, my name is Alan, and I was the president of the club after Jay. Recently, I kind of just started doing machine learning research in the Bay Area.
Aziz?
Yeah, hey everyone, Aziz here. I was actually VP of Bootcamp last year at the iOS Club, so recently graduated. Yeah, now I'm based here in Austin working. I don't think I can say for who. Yeah, I don't think so, but yeah, just this is who I am.
Thanks, Aziz. Fletcher?
Yeah, sup y'all. Yeah, I'm Fletcher. I graduated 2022. I worked at Amazon for like 3.5 years. I got laid off a few months ago. I'm working independently on apps right now, like basically full time while passively applying to jobs. I won't plug any of my apps this time. But yeah, feel free to give me a referral.
Thank you, Fletcher. Will do. And finally, Phil.
Hi everyone, I'm Phil. I used to work for a couple of years at Apple, where I worked on UI frameworks and Mac system experience. Then I joined a startup as a founding engineer, which was acquired by OpenAI, which is where I am now, still working on Mac and Swift related products.
All right. Thank you to all the judges. We appreciate you putting your time into judging all the projects that you'll see today and for coming back and supporting iOS Club. Okay, so let's get to those demos. I ask that you please silence your phones and yourselves. All of these teams have spent countless hours designing, developing these apps, and pouring time into these presentations and preparing to show off to you today. So please take the time to enjoy these fully. We have 4 very exciting team-ideated apps to show to you today. These were started at the beginning of the semester and through just the course of this semester have come to where they are today. These are the teams that will be competing for the awards and the prize mentioned earlier. But we also have 2 club-wide initiative apps that are run semester over semester and will be released to the App Store for you to use in the future. These apps have a more experienced team working on them, and one of them has already been worked on for multiple semesters. These apps aren't in the competition for the awards mentioned earlier. Through all of these 6 apps, which is the biggest semester for iOS Club yet, we've never had 6 apps being developed at once. We have all 6 run on iPhone, 3 run on Mac, and 1 runs on iPad. So also a big semester for cross-platform initiatives in iOS Club. All right, but without further ado, let's get into that first demo with Team Sync Hub.
Hello, everybody. Thank you all for coming out to hear our demo day presentation of Sync Hub. Before I introduce the app, I first want to talk about give you guys an introduction to our background of the app and our motivation for creating it. Now, imagine you're in class. You're furiously taking notes, but it's impossible to read the professor's handwriting and you're falling behind. So what do? You naturally pull up your phone and take a picture of it. The issue is in this day and age, when you're a student studying at places like Georgia Tech, you're creating so many documents and medias while studying that it's hard to keep a track of it all. So let's be honest, after I take that picture, I never look at it again. So it doesn't matter how good your notes are. The issue right now we're facing is we're creating so many different kinds of media. As a student, it's hard to organize it all into one place. Sync Hub is an app that targets this specific issue. We do it in 3 main ways. The first way is the upload phase. This is where we take your media that you generate as a student and put it into our app. The next is the manage phase. This is where we take your actual data and manage it within our app, helping you to understand it spatially. And finally is how we're going to activate your data. We take your information and use powerful Apple shortcuts to help you gather and gain more from the notes you're taking in class. Now I'll pass it off to Arnest to talk about the upload feature of our application.
Hi all, my name is Arnest, and I want to showcase the upload features for Sync Hub. So once we've loaded in, we are welcomed to the home screen where we can access our recent captures, our Canvas workspace, and every kind of file that's been previously uploaded. So I've got photos, documents, and ink links. So when I click on the plus button at the bottom, I can upload from my device, I can take a picture, or I can copy paste from my clipboard. If I've had a busy week at Georgia Tech, I can scroll to the bottom and I have the activity recap where I've been given insights into how my week is going. So it seems like I've got a pretty busy Tuesday with 2 items uploaded this week. Sync Hub also has quick actions on screenshots. So once I've taken a screenshot, I'll be given access to my dynamic island where I can Sync Hub suggests to me 4 actions that I can take. Let's set a reminder. So all documents, photos, etc. that have been uploaded through Sync Hub are sorted through and uploaded onto the Infinite Canvas. Rithya will speak to us more about how this works.
Thank you, Arnis. So kind of delving into kind of managing any material that comes into SyncHub. So the main motive that we had with SyncHub, and I'm sure any application that comes your guys' way, is trying to retain as many users as possible, right? And so we kind of went into the psychology of how users deal with applications, and that was a main motive for our design. So we went into the concept of spatial synthesis, which kind of takes into account that users or people in general do better when grouping material together as opposed to dealing with individual entities as a whole. So when users go into SyncHub and they upload any material into the application, we kind of filter them into different categories. So just file type like photos or recently used and etc. And so that was kind of the main motive with uploading. And now I'm going to pass it off to Pratiti to talk about managing any material that comes to SyncHub.
Okay, so after entering a project, the user is taken to an infinite canvas where they can move in any direction, up, down, left, or right, and also zoom in and out, allowing for maximum flexibility. The user can also use the left toolbar and select the section tool to create different groups to further organize their assets. Now we want to make sure that everything is done in our app so users never have to exit. We created the notes tool where the user can add their typed notes directly into a project. And also in writing mode, users can annotate directly on the canvas, meaning that they can sketch ideas, they can draw arrows, or write with the stylus directly in their projects. And lastly, we have the Spotlight feature, which allows users to search for a specific keyword and access a specific asset. Instead of providing you with a list of assets that match the search, we take a visual approach and create a glow around any assets that match. Now I'm going to pass it off to Siri to speak more about the technical background of this feature.
All right, so I'll be speaking a little bit more about how we implemented this feature. So when you first enter this feature, you can query it. In this case, we'll be looking for the plant icon. Once we enter our query, we'll look through all searchable items for any matching IDs and we'll add them into our environment. A view model will take these IDs and apply a glow around them. You'll also have a dropdown where you can select the correct item. And once selected, you'll receive the coordinates of that item in a Spotlight result. Finally, the focal point of the main canvas will be adjusted to the coordinates of that item so that you can quickly navigate to it. One issue that we came across when implementing this feature was that as the user types in their search query, tasks are continuously fired with every change. So for instance, when we're typing in plant, we type in P, L, A, N, and as you can see, with every change, a new task is fired. This obviously presents an issue as any items that have matched at any point in time will continue to stay glowing even as our search narrows. The way that we resolve this is by canceling all previous asynchronous tasks every time a new task is fired. This way the UI stays consistent with exactly what the user is searching for. Now I'll be handing it off to Javier to talk about our app shortcuts.
Finally, after files are uploaded to the SyncHub canvas, let's take a look at how shortcuts can make managing them even more efficient. As students, I'm sure we all understand the struggle to keep up with a seemingly endless number of deadlines. I also know from personal experience how time-consuming it is to manually enter each deadline into the Reminders app. So we thought, what if we could automate all of this? And with SyncHub, this is all possible. So if I go to my Spotlight search and I click on the syllabus shortcut, after selecting the syllabus that I want to extract deadlines from and giving the shortcut a little bit of time to run, when I go back to my Reminders app, we should see that reminders automatically are populated into your Reminders app along with the assignment name as well as the deadline. So let's take a look at how this works under the hood. This shortcut essentially combines multiple shortcuts together into a workflow. SyncHub extracts text from the uploaded syllabus, and on-device foundation model extracts the deadline and assignment names from the output in a specified format. And finally, each reminder is created using the Reminders app's Create Reminder shortcut. All these features make SyncHub more than just an app. In a world that's overloaded with media that pulls us in multiple directions, SyncHub takes the overwhelming chaos and turns it into a second brain that thinks, organizes, and ultimately enables you to unlock the full potential of all your data. And that is SyncHub. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Team Sync Hub. We'll now open it up to the judges for Q&A.
Great demo. I was very curious to see the macOS capture of the interaction with the app. So I was curious what platform you support, what platforms you supported, and how you came to the decision of which platforms to support in the first place, as well as whether on macOS specifically or on iPadOS as well, you supported multitasking.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we initially were having the multi-platform in mind already. So we wanted to support iOS, macOS, that includes iPad, iPhone, and laptop. And from there, we kind of derive features that kind of seamlessly work together so that there's no synchronization issues. At the end of the day, our name is SyncUp. So we're making sure these, if you do something on iPad, that's reflected on your Mac and iPhone.
Sounds great. Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the judges? All right. Thank you, Team Sync Hub. Yes. All right. And the next app that we'll be demoing is Team SideQuest.
I just came back from Hawaii. 5 days, 67 photos, and a fridge magnet. And I genuinely cannot tell you a single thing that happened.
How was your trip?
I mean, I was there, but I don't really remember anything.
Traveling is one of the most exciting things we do, and yet we found a way to make it completely forgettable. It's not that the places that we go to aren't incredible, it's just that we have no real way to engage with them. SideQuest changes that. We're an app that takes your trips and turns them into interactive adventures, where you can view your quests on our homepage, interact with your friends on our social feed, and view your past trips in our profile. Traveling shouldn't be about just checking things off of a box. It should be about the adventure. And SideQuest is built for those who believe that. Now, let's get into the app. When you first open SideQuest, you're immediately dropped into your current adventure, which is the city that you're in. If you scroll, you'll see a list of quests that have been personally curated just for you, ready to explore. Want to change the scenery? When you enter your new location, SideQuest will automatically generate 5 new quests for you to help you get started on your next adventure. These quests are generated using OpenAI to ensure that they're creative and unique every single time. We also use Apple's foundation model to parse the data in order to get cleaned, usable data for our quest models. Finally, we use Unsplash to get beautiful images that we use to bring our quests to life visually. Instead of a generic tourist list, we can now get personally crafted challenges that align perfectly with your preferences. We can go from tasting classic Southern classics to exploring street art. Now, let's say that these quests aren't exactly your vibe. You can always generate a new quest to explore. Like now. And if you click on a quest, you can view its objective and the difficulty of its task. However, one of the best things is you don't have to go on a quest solo. Now, I'll hand it off to Divya to complete the rest of the quest.
Thanks, Nithya. You can also invite your friends to collaborate with you on the quest. If you do, everyone can access a collaborative image pool where you can view and add images in real time.
Everyone smile.
As you can see, Brian and Amber both added their image to the image pool. After you finish your quest, SideQuest gives you the option to post it to a social feed. Here, you can add your image from the image pool, add your own caption, and include collaborators on your post. However, this isn't the only way to explore a city. Tapping Explore turns the home screen into a live 3D map of the city right in front of you. It's built using Apple's Map Kit. Think Pokemon Go, but for exploring cities. The camera also updates to match your location and direction. And each quest is pinned to its actual location, so the city turns into your very own quest board. Also on this map is a collectible stamp unique to the city that you're in. We use OpenAI to generate a coordinate that places the stamp in one of the city's most visited spots. Your live distance to the stamp is also calculated, so if you're not nearby, the app lets you know how far you need to go in order to collect it. Once you're within a certain radius, you can tap it and enter AR mode. This is where Apple uses AR Kit to use your camera to update the world around you. Apple Scene Kit then renders the stamp as a physical object in front of you, so it exists in the world and not just on your screen. After you collect it, it goes into your passport, where all of your travel stats exist, like countries visited, quests you've completed, and all the other stamps you've earned prior. I'll now pass it off to Neil to talk about the social feed.
Thanks, Divya. Okay, now that you posted your quest, let's see where it all lands. It lands here, on the feed, where other people can view your posts and vice versa. Every post tells the full story of a quest, all updated in real time. To keep posts coming in as the feed grows, we implemented 2 core features, lazy loading and infinite scrolling. To look for posts and profiles, you can use keywords in the search bar at the top. And you can filter your feed to make it more tailored to you using 3 metrics: most recent, friends only, and most relevant. Most relevant uses a personalized ranking score based off 10 user points to make your feed feel most tailored to you. But wait, it's this feature at the top which makes SideQuest fun and competitive, the leaderboard. Quests earn you points and harder quests earn you more points. These points are used to rank you against your friends, with the top 3 point earners being displayed on the podium. I'll now hand it over to Aditya to talk more about the leaderboard.
Thank you, Neil. Here we're going to show you the feed. So when you click on a post, you can actually look at the quest that this person did and explore it. You can interact with it too by reacting to it, leaving a comment, and even reacting to the comment. Now, these comments are live because they're powered by Firebase's event listeners, so the comments come in as they're put in. You can click on quest details, and that's going to show you the quest that this post is associated with. You can even give this quest a try for yourself if you want. Going back to the feed, SideQuest feed is really the place where you can inspire other people with your adventures and interact with the SideQuest community. And that community starts with your profile, which is where I'll take you next. Your profile is where everything you've done on SideQuest lives. All your completed quests, your saved quests, every post you've made, even the badges. Each time you hit a certain milestone in the app, you can get a badge. Now, these badges can be based on quest milestones, social milestones, even location-based milestones. You can click on a badge and you can see your progress towards it and how you can get it. I'm now going to pass it off to Amber, who's going to show you how SideQuest helps you relive your travel memories.
Thanks, Aditya. How many trips have you guys taken where all your photos just sit in your camera roll and you never look at them again? Meet your globe, where every adventure you've completed is pinned on a 3D interactive map. Tap a pin to view your highlight for that trip. Here, you'll see the quests you've completed, a memorable post, and some top photos. If you screenshot your highlight, just like Spotify Wrapped, SideQuest instantly prompts you to share it. And it's not just your own globe you can explore. Head over to a friend's profile and you can tap on their globe to also see all the adventures that they've been on. And so it all started with Brian, back from Hawaii with a whole bunch of photos and a fridge magnet, but he still couldn't remember his trip. That's because travel isn't just a list of places to check off. It's about the experiences that you get along the way. And SideQuest helps you make those experiences your own through fun, interactive quests, connecting with your friends, and reliving your past adventures. That's SideQuest for those who go beyond the map. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Team SideQuest. Judges, do we have any questions for the team?
Sure. How do you guys design the back end of your all's feed? Like, what was your architecture like?
Yes, sir. So the back end of the feed is all on Firebase. The way we split it up is a post is its own thing, each user is its own thing, and each post has a feed on the feed has a quest associated with it. So the different things you saw on the feed on each post, those are all things that we associated with each post on the feed. And one thing for the comments was the comments are their own thing in Firebase because as you saw on the comments, there's a timestamp. You can like them, you can reply to them. So that's their own thing. That's its own object in the feed. So that's what the backend architecture really looked like on Firebase and how we split different things up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I'm just curious. Did you guys draw the icon, or is this AI generated? Because it's
Yeah, with the designer draw all the frog and icons and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very well drawn.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Team SideQuest. Okay. The third project we have to show to you tonight is the app Smart Compose.
Hey there, guys. I'm gonna start off with what Smart Compose is. Wow, isn't that a lot of apps? There are some of the most major apps y'all probably use to talk to other people. Personally, I have around like 10 apps of these and 16,000 unread notifications. These are some of the major problems that we researched on before working on this app. And these are some of the common problems that a lot of people have when checking notifications and just keeping up with the world. These, every day we get thousands of notifications, and I'd just rather swipe over all of them. To showcase our solution, I invite Adars to to talk more about a project.
I'm going to introduce the solution, Smart Compose. All your conversations and none of the chaos. So there's 5 core features that we believe are very central to Smart Compose. The first being Smart AI notifications. We also have a unified inbox and linked contacts. We also have features to draft messages across apps. And finally, we have a feature for cross-platform semantic search. We'll go more in depth into all of these later. But to put it simply, Smart Compose brings team communication into one piece. Instead of jumping between platforms like Discord, Teams, email, iMessage, and everything else, the app pulls your conversation together and actively organizes what matters. Messages can now become tasks, deadlines, files, follow-ups, and extremely searchable information. Now I'll pass it on to Neil to do a demo of our app.
Hey guys, how are you doing? So let me show you an app, how our app works. So this is the home dashboard. So it's this intelligent dashboard. So at the very top, you can see what you missed. So you have 12 unread messages, 3 topics, and a couple urgent things. Oh shoot, there's an urgent notification. Bob messed something up. We gotta talk to him later. We have a couple pinned conversations. We got Smart Compose and a Slack chat. AI daily briefing. So I haven't opened the app in a while. I have a lot of unread notifications. I do not want to go back and read every single unread message. So we got a small daily briefing. Tells you what you missed in a couple sentences. You're all good to go. Then we got training topics. I talk to a lot of people on different apps. I don't want to have to go through each thing and realize, okay, so this project's on Slack, this one's at GroupMe, this one's on Discord. Instead, we can quickly, it shows you 3 of your most important ones. So for the HiGD project, I can see the people that are talking with and what they're talking about. So that's one of them. So all of our notifications are split into a couple of categories. We got urgent, mentions, tasks, events, and follow-ups. So I can go through all of these without having to go through every single conversation I missed. So let's say I went through the event. Oh, I want to add this to calendar. I'm a really organized person. If it's not on my calendar, I'm going to miss it. I'm not going. So it populates everything from the event. So tomorrow at 10 a.m., that's the 29th, 10 a.m. It defaults to an hour, but you can change all that in your settings. So let's back up. All right, let's go to the contacts page. So in your contact, if I have the same person in 3 different contacts, I don't want them to be duplicated 3 different times. If I have the same person, should have one same contact. Let's go to Emily, one of our study partners. Simple, minimalistic. Shows you that she's in a chat with me in a group chat, CS4641 study. There she is with Liam and everyone else. Next up, we got the unified inbox. So this is the main part of the app. You can see all your messages from all your platforms in one small screen. So let's go through a couple. So first, let's go to groups. So we can neatly format everything. So let's say I don't want to see everything. I only want to see everything about my hackathon or my work. Very simply done. Let's say I want to do a filter. I don't want to see everything. I just want to see what I haven't seen yet. So simply unread or stuff in only the last week. Everything's there, easy customizable. Then let's check out a specific chat. Let's go to the Smart Compose dev. In here, you can see there's a bunch of messages. I don't want to read everything. I'm lazy. Hit the summarize button. It'll tell you everything about the summary. You don't got to read everything. You're good to go. You can act as if you read everything and you're good to go. So let's go backtrack and let's go to the social tab, where Ashwant here will send me a message, or being in demo day. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's say one of the responses at the very bottom, they're auto-populated. Let's send that one, sure, and let's send it. And it's good to go. So if you can check his thing, and we're good. And last but not least, the most important thing is semantic searching. So I want to search for a demo. Not this demo, but a demo with the professor. I do not want to go through every single app I have to look for that. Maybe my professor DM'd me on Instagram. I don't know. So I want to check. So simply search for it. Got it. So smart approach. I'd mention that explicitly in your write-up. Looking forward to see the demo. I bet we're chilling. And last but not least, settings. You can go to your accounts, see what accounts you have active. Oh, don't turn that back. We have settings. Let's put it back on. All right. Who likes dark mode? Yeah, that's what I thought. So let's go to your accounts. So you have your Discord, Slack, and Teams. I have this one set up so I can go back, turn anything off, on, chill. Notifications. I don't want to get notified for every single thing. Turn off Discord. I'm fading them all. So turn Discord off and we're good. And that's about it. And to understand more of the tech, I'm going to pass it on to my friend.
Yep. Hey, everyone. So one of the main features of our application was our AI integration. With all the hype, every app needs to have AI at this point. So we're using a 3-step process to integrate AI into our application with very specific features. So specifically, we first have the integration of our AI models. We use ChatGPT 4.0 Mini for our main integration, as well as Gemini as our backup in case ChatGPT fails. Secondly, we have our feature completion. This was mainly used for our summarization as well as our smart replies that we discussed on a demo, and allowed our user to quickly respond and message tests when needed. And finally, one specific application usage of AI was feedback in progress. Specifically, the AI automatically responds to our users' input and messages and really customizes the overall application usage in order to make the users have a more friendly and usable experience. This is our entire team. I'd like to thank our senior devs, tech leads, as well as all our members who really made a big impact onto our application. Once again, this is all conversations, not of the chaos. This is Smart Compose. Thank you.
Thank you, Smart Compose. Do the judges have any questions for this team?
Hey guys, cool app. How did you do the integrations with like the different apps like Discord and Slack? And are there any other apps that you also integrated?
Yeah, we mainly used API integration. We researched into sending and retrieving messages. For example, for Slack, we used into their documentation and realized how to integrate into their functionality. Some some platforms did have some problems, such as app-related applications that were pretty secure, so like iMessage. But we did have workarounds for that by going to like the end, converting iMessage into Android and then going to that, because Android is less secure. But so we had to have those specific implementations in place to get all the integrations working.
I have a question. So I saw that you guys like pushed the tab bar up with the keyboard. Was that like by choice? Because I thought that was an interesting design decision.
Yeah, we push the tab bar up mainly by choice, just to ensure that the user is able to see the entire application. Because if you don't, it's gonna be half hidden when you're scrolling.
Very interesting. And another question. So I saw the summary was like super long for the chat. Is there like a plan to make it shorter? Uh, yeah, just being an opinionated person, I feel like it's way too long for a summary of a chat.
I mean, it looking depends on how many messages you missed. If you missed a couple hundred, then the summary is probably gonna be a little longer. But where it's a simple fix, like we can add a setting for the feature, like a setting for the person, the profile. They can be like, I want to be 3 sentences, 4 sentences, or might as well create a summary for the summary too. We could work on that. I guess if that works.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Smart Compose. The final project that's in today's competition is Team Talking Fingers. Please welcome them.
Communication is something many of us take for granted. For those hard of hearing, sign language is a vibrant, expressive form of communication, and encouraging more people to learn it is essential for improving accessibility. While there are many resources out there that teach you how to sign, most of them lack the one thing needed for true fluency: interactive feedback. At Talking Fingers, we leverage the hardware in your iPhone and Mac and new AI technology to create an experience that gives you real-time confidence in your technique. Our app is built on 2 common pillars: learn and practice, both of which are powered and amplified by our vision technology. To show you how this works, I'll hand it off to Isabel to start walking through the app.
Thanks, Nicola. When you first open the app, you're greeted with an onboarding flow. We ask for your name and your dominant hand. Nicola happens to be a righty. As he learns to sign his name, he'll sign each character, and each character is assessed as good, bad, or okay. Once he reaches good on a letter, he can move on to the next one. This brings us to the dashboard. Here, there are several different ways of learning ASL. But first, we'll take a look at how you actually find what you're looking for. Up top, you'll notice a search bar. Here, you can search for specific terms or categories, but you can also search by idea. For example, you can search for school, and related ideas to school will appear, such as class or study. From here, we go back to dashboard, and we've designed a comprehensive learning flow so that the user learns ASL thoroughly. I'll hand it off to Sanvi to talk a little bit more about it.
Thanks, Isabel. As you know, humans tend to forget information really quickly. So you don't want the signs you're learning to show up equally or even just randomly. You instead want a pattern that is deeply customized to you. That is why we integrated spaced repetition into our exercise mode. This means that the algorithm will choose the next terms based on how long it's been and how likely you are to forget them. So let's actually get into our exercise mode. Nicola has been learning the numbers category for some time now, so he just wants to review it using exercise mode.
He's first asked to actively recall a sign from his memory and use his camera. He also has the option to customize these settings, which is designed to appeal to people with different learning styles. He is next asked to identify a sign via multiple choice. Let's now exit exercise mode. We also have a section on the home screen where you can practice your most missed signs. This pulls from all categories, and it prioritizes signs that are newer and that you haven't seen in a while. We also have designed our whole app to really feel motivating rather than discouraging. For example, we include streaks to encourage people to come back to that. Finally, we have the learn mode. So Nicola this time is a beginner to the alphabet category. So he wants to actually learn it. So first he's shown a helpful visual of the correct sign. He can then try it out himself, and if he gets stuck, he can click the hint button to show him the correct sign once again. Nicola must sign correctly in order to move on. Now I'll hand it off to Remy to explain the framework behind this vision intelligence.
Thanks, Anvi. As part of the vision team, we worked on the architecture behind how we evaluate a user's sign. There are 3 critical systems working in the background: detection, processing, and comparison. We start with the live camera feed. Using Apple's vision framework, we detect key landmarks in the body, like your fingers, knuckles, wrists, elbows, etc., and we extract their position data. This data is then ready for normalization. In this stage, we standardize each position of the landmark such that the data we get from someone who is, for example, 6 feet away from the camera is the same as the data that we get from someone who is 7 feet away from the camera. To save the movement of the user, we use a sliding window buffer that stores the last 2.5 seconds of the user's movement repeatedly. This buffer is then used to continuously compare the user's motion to a perfect sign reference by measuring the distance between different landmarks frame by frame in a process called dynamic time warping. Now, dynamic time warping allows us to align 2 movements even if they slightly differ in speeds. So instead of needing the user to perfectly match the speed of our movement, we can instead focus on how similar those movements actually are. Now, from this process, this entire thing returns a single score, which is the cumulative difference across all frames. And this score is what powers our entire feedback system. It tells us how accurate a sign was, whether a sign was completed or not, and ultimately is responsible for making the app feel personalized, and reactive. So while the user experiences something that is simple and intuitive, there's a full vision pipeline in the background, working to turn movement into meaningful learning feedback. I'll hand it to Krish now to talk about practice.
Thanks, Remy. Practices allow you to use the signing vocabulary you've already learned to form and understand sentences. When you first get on the page, you'll have 2 options. You can choose to practice signing or comprehending sentences. As well, you can see your previous saved practices underneath. Let's say Nicola wants to practice signing sentences. First, he'll choose categories he wants to focus on during his practice, and AI will generate sentences for him based on those categories. Now Nicola will start the practice. The first thing you have to do when signing a sentence is convert the English sentence into gloss. Gloss is a written way of representing signs as English words. So my name is Sam can be signed with my name SAM. Now Nicola will go through and sign each word, only being able to move on once he reaches the good threshold we were talking about. Oh no, Nicola came across a word he doesn't know how to sign. Don't worry, he can just click the hint button, which will bring up a GIF to remind him how to sign it. And if he still can't get it after, he can just click the skip word button. Now, let's say Nicola doesn't want to finish the practice. You can choose to leave and save this practice. With saved practices, we have completed ones, which you can choose to review or retry, and we have unfinished ones. So let's go and continue an unfinished comprehension practice. With comprehension, you get a carousel of signs, and you have to translate it into the gloss sentence that's being signed to you. You only get 1 try on these, so try to get them right the first time. And once you finish the practice, it'll show you your total score for the practice, as well as the mastery you've gained in that category. But of course, practicing is most effective when you can actually see your progress. So I'll hand it over to Nicola to talk about that, the profile page.
Thanks, Krish. So with our customizable widgets, users can track the stats they actually care about. Whether it's through keeping up with their streaks, accumulating badges, or achieving perfect mastery in every category, we offer something for every user to work towards to keep them consistent on their ASL learning journey and to keep practice feeling fun. Our app is also designed to reduce cognitive load with a simple layout and to reduce anxiety through a friendly mascot so that learning feels easy and approachable. Here at Talking Fingers, we're more than just another language learning app. We represent the ideal of how rapidly advancing technology can and should be used to make the world a more accessible place. All you need to join is the palm of your hand and the device in it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Team Talking Fingers. Do the judges have any questions for this team?
I thought the concept of the app was very cool. So thank you for thinking about this problem. I was curious about the Mac app. Which tech stack did you use for that? Is it Catalyst? Is it AppKit? Is it SwiftUI?
Mac app, we kept it consistent with iOS and we just utilized SwiftUI to build that.
Okay, makes sense.
Any other questions for the team?
Yeah, I have a question. For the comparison algorithm that you made with the pose estimation, did it factor in like different hand sizes? Did that affect like the comparison at all? And then same with the dynamic time warping, like how did you get the original video, I guess, that you're comparing it against? Or original like list of frames of pose coordinates? I don't know if that's like the base data that you're using, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have our whole normalization flow, which takes into account like how close a user's hand or body is to the camera. So and also it also takes into account whether their camera is at like a leaning angle, and all of those get normalized by the wrist being like our 0, 0 coordinate, and then the thumb being like another coordinate, and then just calculating the ratio. As for people with different hand sizes, that would also be accounted for in our flow. When we, in the future, ideally, we have a lot of like fluent signers in the back end. At the moment, for the sake of the demo, it was just me signing. I basically use the app and there's a recording mode where I do the sign and it's a series of frames with all the coordinates. And that just becomes the golden reference that the dynamic time warping algorithm is used when comparing the user's sliding window buffer. But in the future, if we can get into contact with like fluent signers and we can have like an assortment of people doing the signs in our backend, we will make like an average of that, and that'll be the golden reference with some room for error.
Cool, thanks.
All right, thank you, Talking Fingers. And now, one more time, let's hear it for those 4 team-ideated apps in today's competition. And now, I have a question for you. Do you have a favorite? Now is the time for you to submit your favorite app to decide who will win that popular vote award. Please scan this QR code. This will only be open for 1 minute. If it happens to not work in one browser, you can try another, but we have tested it. I'm going to hand it off to Rick to tell you how you can make apps like these.
If you guys are inspired by what you just saw, maybe you want to start building your own iOS apps, then the iOS Club Bootcamp is perfect for you. It's a 10-week program that we hold every semester where we teach you everything you need to know to build iOS apps from the ground up. It's a great way to get hands-on experience building apps and meet other aspiring developers. Many of our project team members and officers actually went through our bootcamp program and are now building the apps that you just saw tonight. So if you guys are interested, keep an eye out for announcements from our club, and we would love to have you as part of our program. And now I'm going to hand it off to Hiba to talk about design.
Thank you, Rick. I now want to talk about an important community at iOS Club, the design community. So our designers are an imperative part of our iteration and research process, as well as our user testing process. Our design process takes you through figuring out key personas and user stories, creating journey maps, conducting user research, creating low fidelity prototypes, and ultimately a polished high fidelity prototype ready for developer handoff. But collaboration does not just end at the end of development. Designers collaborate closely with developers throughout the semester to make sure that our designs are feasible and that they're implemented properly. All of this is to ensure the app design is the best that it can be. At the end of the semester, our designers have a fully fledged application to put on their portfolios, and they have developed new and sharpened design skills, including fundamental principles of UX, experience using industry standard software like Figma, developed an eye for better visual design, and cross-discipline collaboration. At iOS Club, we deeply care about great design experiences evident down to every pixel. Next, I'll pass it on to Austin to introduce our flagship apps.
Thank you, Hiba. As I mentioned earlier, iOS Club has 2 flagship apps that are being worked on semester over semester with a goal to release to you soon. The first one we'll be presenting today is Canvas Plus. This is Canvas Plus's 3rd semester of development, and this is a huge semester for Canvas Plus, adding many new features and working closely with Georgia Tech to get it onto their app store. So without further ado, here's the team Canvas Plus.
Guys, let's talk about Canvas Plus. If you're a student at Tech, then I'm sure you have 20 tabs in your browser for Canvas. You also know what it feels when it takes forever to click on so many things just to get to this one module. In this case, it took me 20 seconds to get to this module. Now, let's assume you're doing this workflow 10 times a day, every day for a semester, which is a reasonable assumption for a student. Then you are spending almost 7 hours just on navigation. That's not ideal. What if I tell you we can bring this down to just 20 minutes, effectively making every navigation taking 1 second on average? That's Canvas Plus. Canvas Plus is designed to optimize your workflow as a student. It's a Canvas client application that runs on both iOS and macOS, natively and efficiently. Let's now talk about some features we've shipped to give you a better idea of how we're making your life easier. Let's start off with dashboard. This is Canvas's dashboard. Static, provides little to no information, not the best view for a pair of sore eyes. This is ours, highly personalized and customizable. Upon opening the app, these tabs already help you big time. For example, the Announcements tab gives you an overview of all these announcements across your classes in just one view. The Pin tab allows you to ping anything like an announcement or an assignment or even a file into this view, so important stuffs are just one tap away. Now, I'm going to hand it off to Ivan for him to talk about courses.
Thank you, Stephen. Welcome to course dashboard view. Let's start by revisiting our old friend, normal Canvas page. I mean, it gets the job done. Everything is reachable within 3 clicks, but at clicking every time probably means a 1 to 2 second latency, and that is not what we wanted. And in addition, it is based on one premise that we know what we're looking for, but that might not always be the case. Sometimes I might want to be passively taking in the information that are given to me without me reaching out for them. And based on that philosophy, we've designed our new course dashboard view. Let's take a deeper look after we close the sidebar. The first thing that shows up will be the huge grade calculator on the right side. You can't close it, and it's disproportionately big. So if you don't want people sitting 20 rows behind you to see only your grade on the screen, you better lock in. It's a feature, not a bug. No, I'm just kidding. We will ship this feature before we release our beta version. Next comes the main body of the 3 panels, which are deemed the most important on our on-campus survey. It shows that the 3 most important things are assignments and course announcements that you might misread. And also on the right side, there's an initials that tells you if it's from your professor or it's from a TA. And last but not least, a calendar view dedicated for this course and for you only. You can also add your personal tasks that are related to this course, just like this. Once you click on the add button at the right bottom corner, you'll be able to create tasks that are directly linked to any assignment, quiz, or module that belong to this course. And you'll be able to visualize it in the module introduced by Steven just now. So in a nutshell, what we're trying to do in course dashboard view is that we want to make navigation way easier compared to the original Canvas. For example, if you want to take a look at announcements, there are 3 ways you can get there. The first, the most trivial way is to click on the sidebar announcements, and you will be there. Thanks to our local caching system, it loads within 1 subsecond. The second way, you can just first easily skim through the course dashboard view to read the latest announcements. Or you can just click on the announcement, and there will be a on-device foundation model-powered summarizer that can summarize the announcement for you. Last but not least, you'll be able to see a breadcrumbs on the top, which shows you how deep you are in the navigation, and you can always come back if you are going to like the main course dashboard view or something like that. And now hand it back to Steven to talk about how you can actually customize the course dashboard view further.
All right, let's talk about how you can customize your experience on Canvas Plus. First, you can turn our app from light to dark, making your eyes feel easy at night. You can also customize your course individually. For example, now this class is officially known as Automata and Complexity, taught by Lada. I think what fits better to it is horror. Literally, I have nightmares about it from time to time. Let's also give another color, accent color, to reflect the theme better. There we go, looking more accurate. Now, dashboard is where we provide you with a list of widgets, such as a to-do list, recent items, and a pin files and more, from which you can choose to add to dashboard. So everybody's dashboard could be different. We also create a bunch of shortcuts for you to automate repetitive tasks that you do every single day, all the time, to make them done easier and faster. Searching, for example. Let's say you want to search for an announcement. You vaguely remember it mentions some Kahoot link. Just use that keyword and go there in 1 second. What about quiz? No problem. You can even search for a class, which will take you to the home view if you don't want to open the sidebar, which is an extra step. Notice the breadcrumbs in action. That's actively recording our navigation path, so you can jump to any level as you wish. Finally, Siri integration. Let's say you just woke up and you want to know what's on your calendar today. Instead of opening the app and figuring it out yourself, why don't you just ask Siri? You say, hey Siri, go over my day in Canvas Plus, to which Siri will respond,
Pick at 9:30 a.m. at IC 211. For your to-dos, horror-face screaming in fear is due today at 11:59 p.m.
Oh, that's very convenient. Now you can get your day started with clarity in your head. This is the team that kept developing this app this semester. Huge shout out to our designers who made these amazing UI, UX overhaul. And actually, Aziz, one of our judges, happens to be a major contributor to this app project. Now, with all these features from courses to dashboard to Siri and many more features to come, you have seen the latest Canvas Plus. Please follow us on Reddit, Canvas Plus app, so you can stay tuned with when we are releasing this app to App Store and give us suggestions and feature requests and more. We're really excited for what's ahead for Canvas Plus, and we invite you all to join this journey with us. Thank you.
All right, and our second flagship app that we'll be releasing to an app store very, very shortly is the Georgia Tech app. This app has been an idea for many semesters now, but just started its development and design this semester. And you'll be very impressed by how much they've been able to do in just 1 semester and how much you would already want to be using this app tomorrow. So let's give it up for the GT app team.
Thanks, Austin. Right now, getting through a day in life as a Georgia Tech student, you have to be juggling so many different tools. You're using one website to check out the dining menus. You're doing another app to look at the bus schedules. You're using another tool to book your study rooms, and yet you're still texting your friend asking if the CRC is busy right now. None of these tools talk to each other, and none of them are built around a real student's day in the life at Tech. So we asked ourselves the question, what if there is a single, simple-to-use app that integrates your everyday Georgia Tech needs? That is the GT app. Up next, I'll have our senior UX designer, Rebecca, go over the research behind our app.
To design purposeful features that are actually curated for Georgia Tech students and that are necessary for their day-to-day lives, we conducted thorough research. We started by launching a Qualtrics survey where we reached over 300 responses from Georgia Tech students, staff, and graduate students. For the surveys and interviews, we curated questions to understand Georgia Tech's users' trust in existing Georgia Tech app, friction in day-to-day living, wayfinding around campus, and priorities of features. With the many responses, we found that the average Georgia Tech student uses over 5 GT apps on a day-to-day GT life. The question that encompasses the design process became, how might we create an efficient and reliable app for the Georgia Tech students that help them navigate their day-to-day GT lives? And now with this, presenting the new GT app. Our core 4 features are Home, Facilities, Map/Bus, and Dining. Next, I'll pass it on to Joelle to share a live demo of the app.
All right, so up first, we have our home screen of the Georgia Tech app. Upon sign in, you are either prompted to log in with your Georgia Tech SSO or as a guest. Down below, we have our featured events. That way you can get a sense of the events that are occurring on campus. We also have this alerts kind of section so that you can either customize and add your own personalized alerts to remind yourself of upcoming registration dates or any deadlines. And then we also have our campus resources. This serves as quick hot links that you can use, whether you want to access the CRC website really quickly. You can just customize or add your own hot link and with one tap, you can access that resource that you mainly use. And all the way to our bottom, we have our edit home screen. This serves as a tool in which you can customize the way you want to organize the different sections that are on the home screen. That way it fits to the best way of the way you use it. Up next, we have our Shia that is going to go through our facilities page.
Facilities is going to be your go-through for everything about campus infrastructure. So at the top of facilities, you will see a bunch of information about different appliances, including microwaves, vending machines, parking decks, and printers. In printers, you will see information about different printers across campus. And in order to make this information more reliable, in the future, we're working on integrating crowdsourcing so that users can report if a printer is out of paper or having technical issues. This will power real-time status so that you can know if a printer is working or not before you try to go to it. Next, you can book a study room fully within the app. Instead of having to go through multiple pages on a website, you can find and book a study room with just with a few taps on your phone. Once you've made your booking, it'll be added to your home screen so that it's always visible and you don't have to search for your booking information later. And we're working really closely with the GT Library Service team in order to get this feature fully integrated within our app. Next, at the bottom of the facilities page, you'll see a list of all the buildings on campus. When you click into a building card, for example, Kolk, you will see a full overview of that building. This includes hours of operation, live capacity, a description of what the building is, nearby parking, and directions. You can also view a photo of the building, and in this case, you can book a study room directly from this page. Now I'll hand it over to Pranav to talk about the map page.
One of the features we are most proud of is native bus tracking. With just a tap, you can see all active bus routes and their live locations, including direction of travel. Moving into the rest of the map view, the search bar lets you find any building on or around campus, like Klaus, and get directions instantly, whether you're walking, taking the bus, biking, or driving. Let's try the bus option. You'll see available routes along with a suggested route for you. When you tap Go, navigation starts directly inside the app. If we back out, you'll see your recent searches. Let's favorite Klaus since we visit it often. Below that is a scroll view of campus buildings, ordered by proximity. Since we are in the student center, nearby buildings appear first. For buildings that have live capacity data, like the library and the CRC, that information is visible right on their card. We also extend beyond buildings into dining and campus resources, like printers, microwaves, and parking, each one giving you direct access to directions with a single tap. Under the microwave section, you can browse all microwaves on campus and jump straight into navigation for any of them. And that's the transportation and map section. Here's Angela to share the dining page.
In the dining section, there are two ways to browse options. You can switch between a larger card view and a more compact view that shows more locations at once. Each card gives you the essentials at a glance, like walking distance and operating hours. You can also favorite locations you visit often, so your go-to spots are always easy to access. We also built in filters so you can narrow things down, like dining halls, restaurants in Student Center, and places in Tech Square. If we open a specific dining hall like North Ave, you get a much more detailed view. You can see its location, its hours, accepted payment methods, and the live menu. The menu is organized by meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and overnight. And you can even browse across different dates. And each day, it breaks down the menu further into individual stations offered in the dining hall. Looking ahead, we're also exploring crowdsourced updates so that users can report real-time data and help keep dining data up to date.
The Georgia Tech app brings everything into one place. Study room booking, live bus tracking, building capacity, appliance locations, and more. We're working with OIT and Institute Communications to expand the app to campus events, dining options like food trucks and Wednesday market, and deeper campus integrations like course viewing and Stingrate's ordering. I wanted to give a huge shout out to the team who's put a lot of work into the app this semester and has gotten us to this location so far. And with that, we're releasing a beta in early August. If you would like to join the beta, please scan the QR code, and we'd also love to hear your feedback. Thank you. Someone should probably go delete that library reservation. Definitely. As someone who's graduating this semester, I'm very sad I won't be able to use this app, but I hope that you all will be able to use this app. And the judges don't really have a stake in this. It's the students that have a stake in this. So does anyone have any questions for the Georgia Tech app development and design team while we're here? Any question? Yeah. Can you see how many meal swipes you have left?
So yes, we've reached out to a bunch of different departments at Tech, and one that we are working with right now and hopefully having implementation over the summer is with Transact, which is the current app is called e-accounts, and that gives you dining information about how much dining dollars you have left, meal swipes, as well as buzz funds, and that's kind of the only purpose of that app. So we want to hopefully integrate all of those features in that app into our app, which includes getting information about all that buzz funds and dining swipes as well.
Great question, Hawthorne. Any other questions? Yeah. How did you get the information about where microwaves are? I think Braden can take that one.
Yeah, so there have been a number of occurrences where I'm somewhere random on campus and I have some food with me and I'm like, man, I really wish I knew where all the microwaves were on campus. So what we're kind of doing as a internal club is we're trying to retrieve all the microwave locations on campus so that we can provide that information for y'all. So as a club, we're doing that and we're also potentially using students to gather that information as well. We just want to make sure, with the number of occurrences and like all these printer locations, the microwave locations, and all these appliances that there's not really much information about online. We want to provide that information to students to make their lives a little better.
We have multiple different sources of our data. We are working with a bunch of different departments at Tech. There's a maps and architecture department that has, I think currently it's the maps.godtech.edu. And there's a lot of information there that we're able to pull online. And we're also working with Institute Communications to make sure that we have sustainable paths of communication in the future so that if any information does change, we are keeping up to date with that information. So including like that crowdsourcing of microwaves, we want to make sure that if there's an issue with that, we're going to change it right away.
And I wanted to add to that. So, some of the APIs we've been working with, via Georgia Tech and Georgia Tech technology, we've realized that some of the data is not that good. So the maps that Ross was talking about, they did have like printer locations, but I went onto that and I was trying to find a printer and it told me it was on the left side of the building and turns out the printer was actually on the right side of the building. So we're trying to sort of fix that information where it's kind of misleading.
But if you know of a sneaky microwave on campus, submit it to their feedback form.
Please do.
All right. Any other questions for the Georgia Tech app team? Yeah.
So there is a website out there actually right now. It's called Weights, and it just has current capacities within Colk, Price Gilbert, Crossland, and the CRC. And actually what they do, it's pretty cool, is they take the number of devices in like certain areas of the building based off of like Wi-Fi connection, like Bluetooth, and that's sort of how they determine how busy the place is. And then through our API, we just process that information into our app as well.
So that's a resource that's already out there for students. It's just not that well known about. So the Georgia Tech app hopes to bring that more into the view of all students.
Additionally, we are trying to push them to also add those to like dining hall locations because you don't really know any information about the dining hall before you get there. Like it could be slammed. There could be a huge like field trip or something, and you would have no clue about that until you get there. So we're just trying to provide more information to students on campus.
I wanted to add kind of the hope of this app and what we've been talking to different departments and faculty is they're really on board with this app. And it's not just a one-way development process where we just take information from them and make an app. We're also able to, and we have kind of the momentum behind us to be able to change some of the things at Tech and kind of push the online resources further by, bringing a bunch of smart Georgia Tech CS students to develop for Tech.
All right, and we'll take two more questions. One back there. Have you thought about integrating the housing portal so you can submit maintenance requests?
I think that is something we have looked at in the beginning of the semester, and I think that would be really, really cool. At least for now, we are trying to tackle like the biggest issues with Georgia Tech, like for students, faculty, and staff. So that is something we would definitely love to integrate in the future. And we have a happy QR code here where you can submit that there so we can take care of it in the future.
Yes, please do. Please submit anything you have. That website where this leads to is just our link tree. Please bookmark that. If you have any sort of suggestions for features for us to implement, we want to hear that so we can work on that in the next summer and semester.
To chime in one more thing on that question, I think the Georgia Tech app team has done a really good job about prioritizing features that will impact the most number of people first. So a lot of upperclassmen live off campus, which they wouldn't be able to use that specific feature. So if we can tackle things that apply to the entire campus first, that makes this app that much more useful. All right, question up here. Is there a way to get a digital buzz card?
TBD, but we know of a beta test that is going on right now, and that's actually through the eAccounts app. So we've talked to BuzzCard services where they are hosting it off of the eAccounts app, but we're hoping that same beta test, once it's either in development or still in the beta test, bring that onto the GT app, so that way almost you don't need the eAccounts app in order to have the virtual buzz card. We don't exactly know kind of the process of this beta test, but we actually know of people who currently have a virtual buzz card, and we know the way it works. It's actually a sponsorship with Apple, and so the backend exists for it, and we just want to provide another way of hosting it through our app. So we're definitely on the progress of doing that now.
All right. Thank you for all the questions, and thank you to the Georgia Tech app team for everything they have done. Watch for this in the App Store, January 2027. All right, and I'm going to give it back to Rick to do a quick little announcement about the future of iOS Club before we dive into awards.
Thank you, guys. GT app is looking wonderful. I cannot wait to see it grow. Before we move on to awards, I just want to say one last thing. I need to thank our amazing executive board. I've had the pleasure of working with them for the past year, and they put in an incredible amount of effort to make all this possible. From chasing down Papa John delivery drivers to recruiting hundreds of students at the org fair, they really do it all. So it's been an absolute blast working alongside them. Please give them a big hand. And now I'm excited to introduce the team that's going to take us even further. Can we have our new executive board come up and introduce themselves?
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicola, and I will be the incoming president for the 2026-2027 school year.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karishma. I'm the incoming VP of Operations.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rithya, and I'm your incoming VP of Projects for the 2016.
Hi, I'm Nithya Ravula, and I will be the incoming VP of External Affairs.
Hi, my name is Rebecca, and I'm the incoming VP of Design.
Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to come to next year's demo day. They will be running the show, so please give them one big round of applause. And now, what you guys have all been waiting for. I'm going to give it to Austin, and he is going to announce.
All right, let's get into those awards, though. The first one we'll be announcing is the app that you chose to win tonight. Can we get a drum roll for this, please? The popular vote app is Talking Fingers. Next up, Best Design. This was picked by our judges, the app that's the most cohesive, the most beautiful to look at, the one that you would want to get your hands on immediately. The Best Design. Another drum roll, please. Talking Fingers. And finally, the biggest award of the night, the one that determines which team walks home with a very small prize, the best app. Another drum roll, please. The best app of Spring 2026 Demo Day is Talking Fingers. For the first time in iOS Club history, there is a team that has swept the awards. Never happened before. So big congratulations to Talking Fingers. I want to thank everyone that took their semester to participate in iOS Club and develop and design all of the projects that you saw today. And I want to thank you all for coming out to support our organization, support your friends. It wouldn't happen without all of your support. So thank you so much. And last final thing, please join our Discord. This is how you can get notified about how you can join Bootcamp, our project team, get notifications on when the Georgia Tech app is releasing or when Canvas Plus is releasing. And with that, that is the end of Demo Day. Thank you all for coming out. Have a great night.
Make sure to throw out your trash and